hype about living the dream? It's time for truth. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Hello, welcome to Your Ultimate Life today. Really glad that you're here. Yeah, I don't know what brought you here. I don't know why you decided that this episode was something that you wanted to listen to, but I'm grateful. And I believe you're inspired and led here by your own desires and a growth opportunity. You know, it's funny. I was on a program, a summit of some kind this morning, speaking to a bunch of people in a fairly large group, and a lot of them were coaches. And we talked about a lot of things, my own growth story and what happened, things that were broken for me and how I went on a journey to fix them. And, you know, this is our part of 8-part series on fear. And the fear we talked about first episode was, you know, a fear of setting goals, and then a fear of failure, and a fear of appearing arrogant. And this is about the fear of asking for help. And if you want to hear those others, then go back a few episodes. This is the 4th of 8. And I titled this as Getting Help a Weakness. And so on that show we were on this morning, we were talking about that, about getting help and what that means. And coaches, like, we're in the help business. A coach of an Olympic person is there to inspire, to guide, to motivate, to suggest, to sometimes really push hard an athlete that is trying to get to, you know, high performance. I had that experience yesterday at being coached. I have a coach that I've worked with for many years, and this particular thing is about vocal performance. And I have a song called I Will Hold Your Heart. And it's a very tender song, powerful. I like it, really beautiful. My coach likes it too, and I think you will too. It's on Spotify, by the way, if you want to hear it. Look at my name, I Will Hold Your Heart. But anyway, what we were working on yesterday was about performance. Now, the song's recorded in the studio, it's done, and it's released. But I was working on the performance in terms of concert performance, like where I play unplugged kind of stuff, right? Where I play piano and sing. It's a lot of fun. I love doing that. I'm going to do a lot more of it. And that's what I was working on. And I went to my coaching session expecting, desiring, seeking a guidance, suggestion, criticism, as it were, to do better, to share the message more powerfully. And here's the interesting thing. I got what I was looking for, but then we always get what we're looking for. And because I was wide open and looking, the coach made a suggestion, and I did the best I could to implement it. And the change was so profound and powerful that the emotional nature of the song connected with me so powerfully that I couldn't get to I got to the intro and the first verse. And then by the time I got to the chorus, I broke down in emotion. I started to cry, weep because of the power of the song. And now I've got to work on that because I've got to be able to get through it. My point is, if I hadn't asked for guidance and help, I wouldn't have got it. And number 2, if I wasn't wide open, seeking that help, I wouldn't have got it. So fear is the topic of these 8 podcasts. And I don't know about you. I don't know how old you are. I'm 68. I'll be 69 in a couple of months, November, December. Yeah, December. And in growing up, I was raised with the idea that it's not okay to get help. You're supposed to suck it up, figure it out, man up, and do it on your own. That was the atmosphere at school, at home, everywhere. Suck it up. Now, because of my own brokenness, I struggled for decades, 35, 40 years with severe depression that manifested in me of I'm not good enough. I need to show off. I need to prove myself. When I did create success, I had to create sabotage and wreck it because I didn't deserve it. So I rode that terrible roller coaster. And so, getting help today in 2024 is a lot more acceptable and a lot more talked about, although there's still enormous stigma when it comes to, standing on your own, doing things on your own, call it macho if you will, but whatever. I don't think men are the only ones that struggle with that. In fact, I know we're not, because a lot of my clients are women who talk about the same thing, fear of getting help. And there's a difference between getting help and acknowledging weakness. I can't do this. I don't know how. Somebody help me is one sort of way to talk about it. But often when we do that, we're not actually asking for help. We're looking for sympathy. Somebody come and empathize or sympathize with me that I'm having trouble. I'm broken. This is hard. And yeah, I know there's tough work to do to get it fixed, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to do the real. Oh, okay. So there is that element in there too. But anyway, so today I want to talk about getting help. Now, I don't know about you, if getting help or fear in that way, fear of not being enough. We talked a little bit about fear of failure a couple of episodes ago. Fear of getting help, being perceived as weakness. Now, we live in a world where we're taught practically from the cradle, we're not good enough. Think about it. You get scolded or beat or spanked or punished in some way at home. You get chastised at school. Grades mark and grade you. Friends, there's cliques and groups, and you're in and you're out, up and down. All those things happen in everyone's life. And for some of us, it's much, much, much more than others, and some less. Then there's darker things. There's physical and sexual and mental and emotional and spiritual and other kind of abuse where things that shouldn't be happening are heaped upon people. And that all contributes to brokenness in some way, a little or a lot. If you combine some degree of brokenness, whether it's tremendous brokenness or small, with the idea that if you ask for help, it's embarrassing, or you're weak, or you're stupid, or you can't figure it out, or you're not good enough, which still floats around a lot. More in some cultures and places than others, but it's still really big. If you combine those, you get in a place where you are held back by fear of asking for help. So that gets to the question that's central for today: is getting help weakness? Now, intellectually, you would say, well, of course not. If you know you need help and you go get it, that's intelligent. It's a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of strength. Do you believe that? In the core of your heart, do you believe that? I can tell you on my own journey of growth, it started when I was 52, and if you've listened to many of these episodes, you know some of the stories. I lived a broken life, a facade, a life of proving myself and then sabotaging my success over and over again. 3 failed relationships, addictions, and just on and on. I lived that way, and a lot of it, I struggled with depression. A couple of shrinks had bipolar. It doesn't really matter. I struggled with the effects of not getting help until I was 52 plus. 52 is when my transformation journey started. One of the things I had to learn is even how to get help, and that it was okay to do it. And, what does it look like getting help? It's funny. I can tell you stories about first times I went to counselors, seeking help with, depression and self-loathing and my attitude about myself. I'm not even talking about addiction recovery. That was a different process. But when I started trying to address my self-esteem and self-loathing issues, I didn't even know how to get help. I went to counselors and I told them stories. about myself and stuff that had happened. And then I would self-diagnose and say what was wrong and what I needed to do. And, like I was handling it myself, and they just sat there the whole time. And I'm sure they thought I was nuts because I didn't even put myself in a position to actually get help. Now, it was helpful to just talk about it, but nowhere near the kind of growth and help that I could have had to start with. That maybe took a year and went through 2 or 3 counselors before I finally learned to really get help, which is just to talk about something and then shut up and listen to the questions and consider them deeply and, that kind of stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about why getting help might seem like a weakness and why it isn't, and how to make choices about getting the help you need. Okay? So first, I want to state categorically, getting help is not weakness. Getting help is not weakness. Now, I want to put some boundaries around that, because if I go to try to do anything, it doesn't matter if it's learn to play the piano or learn to be a coach or learn to play basketball, and the first difficulty I say, I can't do this, somebody help me, somebody show me, then I'm really acting out of a victim mindset. This is difficult, somebody do it for me. Well, getting help isn't do it for me, because that's never going to work. That's never going to be a path for growth. The idea I'm suggesting here, getting help, eliminating the fear of getting help in the purpose of creating your ultimate life, assumes you're going to do the push-ups. If I'm trying, and I am, this is an ongoing thing. So if I'm trying to get myself back in physical shape and get everything fixed, lungs back and all that stuff, I need help. I need advice. I need thoughts, and I get it now. I get to have that. One of the most blessed pieces of help is my beautiful wife. So those of you that have followed the recent episodes know that a year or so ago, I hurt my back, and x-rays revealed that I have some disc deterioration on the right side in the lower back. So I have back pain and, sciatica running up and down my right leg, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, I can complain about that, and it hurts off and on, not every day badly, but so I use a cane, and I've gone and gotten some cortisone shots, a couple of them. I'm due for another one here next week or a couple weeks from now. And they help, all those things. But that doesn't substitute for physical therapy, doing exercises, walking, doing all of the other pieces. So getting help means, I either don't know really what to do, or I kind of know what to do, but maybe I need some refined guidance. Sometimes getting help is what I refer to as mindset help, head trash help, encouragement. I kind of know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm afraid of it. That's one of the things I notice as a coach comes up a lot. Knowing what to do is actually not difficult. The path to creating a product or service if you run a business online. The path to creating good relationships at work if you have a job. The path to starting a business. The path of working on a relationship at home. The path to personal health and development. The path to good nutrition. All of those things are pretty well known. There's just tons of free information about what to do. And what I find is usually it's not that we don't really have any idea what to do. It's that we don't do what we know. So much of the work that I do as a coach, there's 2 parts to it. One is encouragement, to encourage people to do what they know, helping them realize they have the strength, they have the capacity, they have the ability to start, to take step 1, step 2, like to get moving. And then momentum and success is its own reward. The other part of that is to help people, you, see the vision of the possible. The vision of the possible. Okay, so you or I, we might see someone that has a lot of money or a car or house or some kind of life that we think is, wow, I wish I could be that way. And then companion to that, and we say, I wish I could have that or be that or do that. is the idea, the implication that we can't. Yeah, that's out of reach for me. I can't do that. And that's where the nonsense is. Because the steps between where I am and where I might want to be, or where you are and where you want to go, those steps are well known. They're not a mystery. And that might be a shock, it might be offensive, but they're not a mystery. What's missing is the courage and the dedication to do them. I have a client that I've had for many years who runs a gym, and it's not a 24-hour sort of fitness gym, although it's open 24 hours, but that's not the model. The model is one of heavy lifters, guys that and gals that enter competitions with the oil and the whole thing, right? So it's kind of a raw. And so we were talking about the process to do that, and he said one day, it's really not complicated. You eat, sleep, and lift. Eat, sleep, and lift. Right? And so in our conversation, he coined the term rigorous simplicity. Many goals are just exactly that. Now, our point here today is fear in these 8 episodes, a particular fear of getting help, and how that gets in the way of you creating your ultimate life, your life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. So there are several things that we have to establish as sort of ground rules. You deserve a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. Your purpose isn't going to come in an Amazon box. There is a process we've talked about on other episodes called the Triple Helix about finding a life purpose, if you want one. And life purpose isn't one and done. It's for now, for this time, this season, this year, maybe this decade. I don't know. But finding it and creating it and declaring it and owning it is very doable. Again, steps in a process. If you want help with that, reach out and get a hold of me. This is my whole life. My commitment this year is to reach 250 million people. How reach them? What does that mean? It means to help you understand about who you really are. An infinite being, having immortal experience with infinite capability and the possibility to create whatever you want. And that might sound all lofty and out of reach and stuff, but it's not. What it is hard. What it is something you do need help with, right? You do need encouragement. Sometimes we need to be shown how to do stuff. I'll give you a simple example. I work in the recording studio. As you know, I have 91 songs in commercial release. And if you are interested in any of those, go on Spotify or Amazon or whatever and put my name in, you'll see many of them. And I often go looking for tools and help to find about how to do things better. I'll take courses or buy different plugins to try for different effects and sounds and that sort of thing. So that's also getting help. That's the easy kind. The second kind of help, and the one that is the most fearful and gets in the way, is when we have to just go be vulnerable. I'm broken, or I'm lost, or it's over my pay grade. I need help. Now, do you feel like that? When you feel like that, what do? Do you feel scared? Do you feel convinced it doesn't matter? Doesn't matter if I go get it. It won't do any good anyway. Right? Sometimes I've felt like that. When I went to get counseling, that was the first thing. And I've been through a lot of sessions now. But I had to learn to be vulnerable. When I coach people, that is a fundamental requirement. If I go into a coaching session like yesterday with my vocal coach, thinking I know this already, I know, you're going to tell me this, I know, I wouldn't have made progress. I wouldn't have had the enormous breakthrough that I had. I've been coaching with this guy for years. Still, enormous breakthrough. So the asking for help requires humility. It requires you to be vulnerable, open. Hey, I really want to do this. And I'm willing to do the work, the changes, the refocusing, adjusting what I think about, what I'm doing, my approach, whatever it is. This morning on that show that I was on, or that summit, speaking to these coaches, there was a question about, one of the questions during Q&A was about this whole personal development thing. Well, do we have to keep developing? No, of course you don't. You learn to play the piano at a certain level, you can stop there forever. But there's an interesting thing about you, something I know about you. You know what that is? The thing I know about you is you have a yearning. You have a yearning to grow. You have a yearning to be more developed, to be more powerful, more kind, more loving. This is not about, oh, I got a yearning to have more stuff, bigger bank account, better car, cooler clothes. I'm not talking at all. That's not even in the ballpark. There is a yearning in all of us that says, I want to be more developed. I want to be a fully developed me, whatever your name is, Kellen. I want to be a fully developed Kellen. I want to be the best Kellen I can be. The kindest, the most loving, the most developed, the most learned, the most knowing, not to show off or to brag or to boast or to post pictures of Lamborghinis or whatever people do, because our nature is to love and serve each other. It is, you know it, you felt it, and it's true. And congratulations every time you give into that good feeling. Learning to not only seek help, but to embrace it fully and to lean in is an amazing, amazing skill. And I just can't recommend highly enough effort spent learning to get help, learning to seek it at the right time, seeking the balance between I'm going to do the work, I'm going to do the push-ups, I'm going to, I just need you to tell me what else I can try, what else I can think about. I need encouragement. I need more focus. So again, we're not talking about lazy, do it for me, right? That isn't the thing. It might be show me how. It might be give me some advice. It might be encourage me. It might be lift my spirits because I'm feeling down. One of the questions from someone on the call this morning was, what do you do when you have bad days, hours, when things get hard? And my answer's easy and the same. I have my daily creation process. And it works every time, 100%, never fails. But I didn't get there accidentally. I have refined this process. Let's say you want to sharpen a knife. And over the years, you've learned really how to sharpen it well. So you have a foolproof way to sharpen a knife really, really well. So anytime your knife's dull, you can go sharpen it with a system and process works. You can create yourself that way. But this is the whole point of today's show. You're not going to do that by yourself. You're not going to find the best, the fastest, the easiest, the most certain methods for your growth alone. You're going to find them best, easiest, and fastest with the help of those who have been there, done that, made the mistakes, or had mentors or guides or coaches of their own. So back to the fundamental question. Choosing to get help is a sign of intelligence. It is a sign of wisdom. It is a sign of strength. It is a sign of maturity and development. So let's lay that as groundwork. Now, I want you to look in your own life right now at something you're trying to accomplish. Remember, we're talking about creating ultimate life. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. Life purpose that drives you every day. Prosperity of bank account, of relationships, of joy, of connection, and joy of life. Joie de vivre. You love every day. You get excited about everything. Excuse me. That's what we're trying to create. It's what you deserve. That's what you can have. It's what you should have. Now, here's the assignment. I want you to go through your life, your spiritual life, your connection to the divine, your physical being, your body, your health, your bank account, your job or business, how you support yourself, your relationships with your significant other, your friends, your kids, your coworkers, all of and your relationship with yourself. how much you love yourself. I want you to just think about each of those areas a little. What areas, where does it stand out that you think, oh, I'd love to have that better. I wish I was better at this, or had a stronger relationship there, more confidence, felt more capable about this, that, and the other, making sales, creating business, whatever it is. So now that you have that firmly in your mind, why, and this is a serious question, so take a minute. Why isn't that area of your life, why isn't it growing as fast as you want? Like, we're not going to spend any time worrying about how we got here. We are where we are. We're not going to cast blame or do anything. Wherever you are right now, in your health, in your wealth, in your happiness, your relationships, any of that, why isn't it growing, changing, improving, leveling up, whatever the word you love? Why isn't that happening as fast as you want? That, for me, is a key question that tells me where I need help. So now that you've identified 3 areas that are not at all like you want. They're just not. Okay, no harm, no foul, no blame. There's no help in that. Are you getting the help you need? Do you have both a personal activity, schedule or regime to work on it, and are you getting the help you need? And if you're not, that's not weird. I don't want you to feel like, oh, most people don't. Most people are still afraid of getting help, and that's how fear keeps you from having the life you want. I'm afraid to get help because I'm afraid somebody will see, somebody will know, somebody will judge me, somebody will think I'm weak or stupid or unlearned or whatever. Somebody will think that, I can't get help. And that's how this fear gets in the way of your growth. So your challenge, after you've identified 1, maybe 2 at the most, areas where your life isn't like you want it. And again, no blame, no harm, no anger, no frustration. It's not. What are you doing? If we just repeat the same cycles, we'll get the same results. So if you want to create better relationships, better health, more cash, a better business, a happier life, what actions are you taking in that regard? Something that we often do is just complain. We complain about what we don't have instead of thinking about, how did I get here? What am I doing or not doing that's in the way of my growth and progress? Now, the last thing I want to mention is, I want to repeat something that happened I mentioned a little earlier. We live in a download and double-click world where we think we're going to go to Google and some other search engine and find an answer and download, double-click, and it's going to solve. That doesn't happen. Nothing in the world, trees, plants, harvest, nothing grows that way, and so we don't either. So this whole episode is intended to encourage you. You're divine. You can have whatever you want. Really. The way to get it is to identify where you are right now in that particular area, where you want to go, what's not happening, what's in the way, what are you either doing or not doing that is, impeding, sabotaging, blocking, delaying that growth, and then get the help. Who could help me? Who could help me? My voice, vocal teacher. Who could help me grow my business? I need a coach. Who could help me change how much I love myself? Wow, what would it be like to get up and just love my day and myself every single day? Well, that's the realm I work in. So I have 3 invitations for you. Number 1, my goal is to help 250 million people. Okay? You're one of them. If I can help you love yourself more, make more money, be happier, take charge of your life, do the things you know you could do. If you want help in any of those areas, reach out. Reach out. KellenFlukigerMedia.com is the URL on the screen. It's just my name, KellenFlukigerMedia.com. On that page, there's all kinds of things about what we do, but there's also some contact information. I'd love to hear from you. And if it makes sense, I'd love to help you, because my mission of 250 million isn't just to talk, it's to help. The second invitation I have for you is, do you have a story of resilience? Do you have a story of growth, of power, of choices that you've made to overcome, to grow, to do the things that we're just discussing here? If you have, I want to hear from you. I love having guests. I love being a megaphone for your growth, for your success, spreading your message. Do you have a book you want to publicize, or a book you want to write? I help people do that too. Your life matters. Your growth matters. You can be of service if you want to. So if you have a story you'd like to share, reach out. The information is on KellenFlukigerMedia.com. The third invitation is, I invite you, if you find this message and these messages inspiring, please share this podcast. You can help me, if you're willing, get to my 250 million. Share it with someone you love, that you know, that you want to encourage and inspire. Because the truths that we've talked about are true for you, for me, for them. And can you imagine for just a minute if we were living like with this positive, focused, growth-oriented attitude? Oh, what a difference. You really can create whatever you desire. Listen to those three invitations. If any of them strike home, please take action. I can tell you for sure, if you do that and keep moving, there's nothing that can stop you from creating your ultimate life.
Never hold back and you'll never ask why. Open your heart and this time around.
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to KellenFlukigerMedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, YourUltimateLife.ca. Subscribe, share,